This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Bienvenidos a Este es un lugar, el podcast. Soy Brandon con
Natanas.
Brandon y Natanas. Aquí estamos reunidos todos juntos hoy. Gracias por venir.
Por fin estamos.
Por fin estamos. De hecho, acabo de averiguar que mi compañero antes tocaba en una banda latino.
De roca.
Interesante.
Muy.
Well, anyways, thanks for tuning in to our episode. This is our first Spanish episode, or at least our first Spanish introduction episode. So that's exciting. But thanks to those who stuck around, because we are back in the English, so we're going to just go full speed here.
Full speed ahead. Adelante.
So what's been up lately, Nate?
Not much. Seems like life is slowly returning to a little bit of normalcy with restaurants starting to open up the in-house dining rooms and stores are opening up, which is good. So
Some sense of normal.
yeah, it kind of feels it's slowly coming back. So hopefully that trend continues, and there's still rumors of more gyms opening up and possibly public pools opening up soon. So fingers crossed that everything continues normal and that the curve continues to flatten.
Well, a lot has happened since we last recorded. I mean, Lagoon is back up and running, so there's some sign of summer resuming a little bit as normal, right?
But did you see that, how you have to make a reservation to go to the park? So I didn't dig into it too far, but I'm wondering, are they limiting the amount of time you're there or just amount of people who can reserve for one day? But
have you tried yet?
I've logged into the websites for the reservation, but I haven't actually put in for a time because I don't want to mess things up, and because you can only reserve 1 or 2 times a week if you're a season pass holder.
Oh,
like
okay.
My family is. From what I can see on Facebook, though, from people that are going, it looks like it's kind of a cool time to go since they're operating, I think, at 15% capacity.
Wow.
So that's always a fun time to go to Lagoon when there's not a lot of people there, because you kind of feel like you can get on all the rides that you want to.
Well, I think a Lagoon episode is coming up very soon for us. Everybody's been asking about it, and it's about time to do our first of many Lagoon episodes we have in store for the listeners.
Yeah, I'm excited to. I mean, obviously Lagoon hasn't been open at all this year so far, so I haven't been since last year. My family does the season passes because they're so cheap. But interesting to see what new things they added this year or what they've done differently this year. So we'll have to do an episode soon so we can let our listeners know that haven't been to Lagoon so far this year. And then in some sad news, especially for Utah Jazz fans, the beloved coach Jerry Sloan passed away a few days ago. I believe even Carmelone was tweeting out to everybody pray for him last week, so we kind of knew
something was coming.
Something was coming, so it wasn't a huge surprise, but still sad to see a legend like that move on. But hopefully his legacy continues with the NBA, because he definitely had a style different to most coaches that come into the NBA nowadays.
Yeah, he was a very special coach and very well regarded throughout the NBA community, and especially throughout Utah as well. Like you said, he was well loved. And Utah, the Jazz haven't had a whole ton of coaches. I mean, what are we at? A total of 4 or 5 at this point?
Yeah, I mean,
Frank Layden, was he the first?
I think he was the first coach when they moved to Utah, right?
So it went Frank, Jerry, Ty Corbin, and now Quinn Snyder, right? So that's just 4 coaches that the Jazz have had since being in Utah.
Not a lot, which is probably a good thing that we're pretty loyal.
If you look on a positive side, his wife passed away quite a few years ago, and I'm sure he was lonely, sad to see him go, but hasn't been the best couple of years for him. So he's in a better place, right?
Very true. Before we get to the subject matter, Brandon and I went to the location we're talking about last week, and sounds like you had a very exciting ride home. Do you want to tell us what happened?
Yeah, I got in a car accident.
Is this your first one? I say it like that. That's I think that's supposed to happen, but
It kind of is my first one. I don't have the best track history with cars in general. I've crashed in a lot of things, mostly in my dad's truck when I was in high school, one of which was a car, but that was a little different of an experience that I won't get into. But this one, I guess my first moving on the street car accident. And I was sideswiped by this guy in a bigger truck. My car is a little thing. So he hit me. I was just going along kind of rush hour time, and I was on a straight path, no cars in front of me. While the lane he was in, everybody is kind of tends to turn left at that spot to go onto Bangerter. And he decided, or I don't know what he said was that the car in front of him slammed on his brakes, and so he hurried and went into my lane, didn't see me, and ended up hitting my car. And I knew it because I'm in a little car, but he didn't even realize that he hit me until he saw me pulling over to the side, and so he did the same. Either way, there wasn't a whole ton of damage. I had the cop come out because it was my first one, so I was a little nervous. Didn't want to just drive away if that's not what I was supposed to do. But the cop said, "You really don't need to call on this. It's just a real small one. There's not a lot of damage, so you just work it out between the two of you, and you go from there."
so okay. So the guy wasn't on his phone or anything like that. He supposedly was trying to avoid rear-ending somebody that he sideswiped you.
Yeah, he kept saying like the only thing that I had in my head that I remembered was don't like admit fault the whole time, right? And
Right.
so first thing he said when he got out was, "Oh my gosh, I didn't see that guy. He slammed on his brakes. I don't know why he slammed on his brakes like that." I'm like, dude, if we got someone coming out, you're for sure getting in trouble because you keep saying this. But either way, it was so minor that there wasn't really anything. And I was even talking to him after the cop left. I'm like, well, what do we do? I mean, you chipped some paint on my car, but if you look at my car, it's not like that's anything new. So I'm not going to go get it fixed. And on his truck, it just bent in a little piece on the front, but it wasn't anything bad. In the end, he decided, let's just work it out on our own, just fix our own cars and not get insurance involved, which was a positive. I didn't really want to go that route.
Right. Or are you going to have to do anything to your car then? Or are you just going to let it be?
No, like I said, it just chipped my paint. Whatever happened to his truck was worse. So
Right. But you're not going to.
it could have been bad, but I think he realized quickly enough that there was another person in that lane, and he corrected, and it ended up not being too terrible of an accident. So I walked away just fine. Just took a lot longer getting home than I had hoped.
Yeah, I would say so.
Luckily, I had the energy from all the delicious tacos we had eaten from our visit.
Yeah. Our visit to where, Brandon? To where?
So the reason we started the episode in Spanish was because we visited the Rose Park taco establishment, Santo Taco,
Santo Tacos.
which means holy taco if you translate it into English.
Ooh.
So
Good point.
lucky for Nate and I, we both speak a little bit of Spanish, so we could start the episode like that and be able to speak to some people there in Spanish, like the dude that took our picture for us. But a little bit of what we were talking about beforehand was how when we were learning Spanish, we would like to translate stuff into like direct translations, which never works with a language. For example, I would always say Santa Vaca, which translates to holy cow, which you never would say in Spanish.
I still say that to this day, Santa Vaca.
What other things would you say or still say to this day?
I know a lot of gringos will use the word como to say like, because like this, like that, like I was like going like to the store, like, so they say como a lot, and I just don't think that really translates over into Spanish.
In Spanish, they instead say este. Este is like the
Is there
equivalent of
humming?
like,
Saying hum, yeah.
este. Yeah,
¿Cómo es?
yeah, a little
That's
different.
true.
I used to always say que en el mundo, which means what in the world,
Que en el mundo.
or jotaka, like JK. Just kidding.
Otaka. Ah, yes,
Yeah,
and
things that do not translate well. There's Spanish has their own jokes and phrases, but
right, and even from country to country, their phrases and words can be different. So you have to be very careful
yes,
for some of the words when you go to a different country that may work in one country but not the next. So, word to the wise.
be careful.
Be careful. Santa Vaca. Yeah, so we went to this little taqueria in Rose Park. And did you hear that they put a taqueria on the moon?
Did not hear that.
Yeah, I hear it's great food, but terrible atmosphere.
Oh boy.
Did you hear they also have a Wookiee steak taco there?
Wookiee steak?
A Wookiee steak taco. It's a little chewy. Oh,
Kind of like lengua.
Lengua. Yeah. Lengua taco.
Which we
They
did
had
not
that on
have.
the menu, didn't they?
They did, but we didn't have any.
Which was interesting. Have you ever had it?
Yes, it's like I said, it's chewy.
It's chewy.
It's not the worst thing I've ever had.
No, it's not. So one thing when I'm eating foreign foods, that I don't know what it is, I like to ask questions after I eat it instead of prior to. So
It's always a smart move.
that's where I learned when I ate my first cow tongue that I need to ask after, not before. Because it's hard to eat something knowing what it is, but if you just eat it and don't know what it is, it's easier going down.
But that's one thing you don't have to worry about at Santo Taco is because you'll know that anything you're eating in there is good quality and it's safe. So
Yeah, I enjoyed Santo Taco. I mean, you have your taco carts. Is that how you say them? Carritos. Street vendor type tacos, and this felt like just a step above like the street tacos, a little more on the fancier side or higher quality. Maybe that's what I'm looking for, but it was pretty good.
what's cool is you get the taco stand, taco cart feel and experience of the food, the authenticity, plus you're in a well-recognized establishment. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, clean. I guess is that what you're looking for? Clean and updated.
You feel like it's a little more regulated, I guess you
Yeah.
could say. You don't have to worry as much what you're getting from the cart because it's just one person in the cart all day. But with Santo Taco, you still get all of that, except you feel a little safer, I guess you could say.
Yeah, they didn't with the COVID going on, they didn't have their salsa bar open. But other than that, everything seemed to be operating as normal. But you do get a little nervous sometimes when you go to those street vendors, wondering what you're getting yourself into when they're working out of coolers.
Exactly.
So,
well, we wanted to do Santo Taco. I worked for a while with one of the head guys there. I guess he's the main manager currently. His name is Caesar, and so it was great to be able to talk with him a little bit and hear about the origins of the place and how it got started. I'll read, this is directly from their website, just their story. So it says they started in the USA when they first moved to Salt Lake decades ago. Claudia and Alfonso, who were the two that began it, started working in small kitchens in the Salt Lake downtown area. We had to first learn English and then each job of the kitchen, beginning in the back of the kitchen washing dishes and then on to helping prepare food before we gained skills in a professional kitchen as a cook. As our careers progressed in the food industry, our family also grew. It was a lot of work building skills and a family at the same time. However, it was a blessing in disguise. Two of our children became vegetarians and inspired us to learn how to prepare new food to feed our ever-growing family. And of course, it had to be Mexican food. We later felt we were ready to take the plunge and open a new business and bring our home-style cooking to our restaurant, Santo Taco. It is our hope that you taste every effort and experience we had in our careers and in our home. So, since 2019.
So fairly new.
Yeah, up and coming.
But they seem to, for only being a little over a year old, they seem to have a pretty decent following. I mean, we went probably around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they still had a decent crowd of people coming in and out of the restaurant. So good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we won't I won't go through as much as we normally do with the reviews on this because in all honesty, their reviews are they're pretty good. I couldn't find a lot of negative or funny reviews like I normally do. As Caesar was saying, they have a really loyal following in that area. And while COVID has been tough on them, as it is for most businesses, they've still had their loyal customers still coming around. And okay, so I just want to read one negative review. It said their announcement said best Mexican tacos did not meet my Mexican expectations. It's super clean place, great people, food is good, but like I said, not Mexican great. I'll stick to taco carts. A 1 star just because it wasn't Mexican enough. I'm a little surprised by that because they even said the food was great, the place was nice and clean, but they'll still stick to the taco carts. For me, I'll go to a taco cart from time to time, but I feel a lot more safe in what I'm getting from Santo Taco.
It's not your typical street vendor. I mean, if you want the authentic, like I'm in Mexico and I'm getting from a street vendor, then yeah, you go to the street carts. But if you want something a little higher quality, which also means you're probably going to pay a little bit more than you would from a street taco vendor.
It's a trade-off.
A little more trendy too, I guess you could also say too.
Yeah, this place definitely has a trendy feel to it, which I think you can't really get with a taco cart because it's a cart. They're not going for trend. It's just convenient because that's where people are going and gravitating towards, and you can get your food and you're good to go. But with Santo Taco, you get the food and the experience at the same time.
Yeah, and you don't lose. I mean, even though you're going to a higher quality place, you don't lose that ethnic Mexican flavor.
Yeah,
and feel too as well.
And I'm not Mexican. I can't speak to the Mexican authenticity of it. And I've never even been to Mexico myself, but
What?
From what I've had in those taco carts and everything, I was impressed with the authenticity to my standard.
To your gringo standards?
To my gringo standards, yes, it met them.
Yeah, and I did like, even though he's called Santo Tacos, you think they'd only have tacos, but they had other things on the menu, which could be a good thing and a bad thing sometimes, having a lot of variety. But they did have a lot of options. Even with the tacos, they had a lot of taco options. And then outside of tacos, they had a lot of other items you could get, like the enchiladas, the burritos. And we did ask the guy at the counter what's the most popular thing there. And he brought up the fries.
Yeah. So I had one other review that talked about that was going on about they had all those options. It said, we absolutely love the fries, and the fish tacos are delicious too. Prices are not too bad. Maybe a little high for a cheese quesadilla, but other than that, totally doable. So in this review itself, it's talking about how much variety they have there. They have these fries, which, yeah, I was tempted to buy the fries, but I wasn't quite feeling that much food. And so there's a lot of options on the menu. You're not limited to just what you would get in a taco cart. You get
Right.
enchiladas, burritos, flautas. You even have churros, all sorts of different things you can get.
One thing I thought was I'm a pretty decent sized guy, and I can eat a lot. I guess that's the point I'm getting to. And I did have lunch earlier, so I wasn't starving by any means, but I was hungry. And I thought, well, I'm going to try a few of the tacos first, then maybe I'll go back and get the fries or something like that. But I was pleasantly surprised with only, I believe, 3 tacos that I was pretty full. So they're not your little tiny street tacos. I mean, that's that style, but they're a little bit bigger, and they don't really skimp on the toppings or the meat that they put in it, which is good.
What were the tacos that you had?
I had chile verde, which was really good. I love chile verde. And then I had a fish taco. You have to try fish tacos when you can, which was really good as well. And then we had the al pastor, or I had the al pastor. So all 3 of them were great. I think the favorite of my 3 was probably the fish taco. And do you remember what you ordered?
So I had also the chile verde, which to me, a word to the wise, if you get that, expect a little bit more of a kick to it. I had the al pastor, which I really liked because it had fresh pineapple in it, which you don't see as frequently anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
It was really good. And then I had a little bit of a specialty taco. I almost don't want to call it a taco. I get that it's a taco, but it was pretty unique. And I'll say the word. Just be warned that sometimes this is okay. Well, it is a slang Mexican Spanish word. So I hope we don't get labeled for explicit on this podcast. But it's called the El Chingon, which is basically Mexican slang for just something that's really cool. But I had that one, and it had 3 different types of meat in it. I was trying to find it on the website, but it's not listed. But it had, I think, beef, chicken, maybe pork in it. But it was really good. It was rolled up in almost more like a quesadilla type. Would you agree? The way it looked more like a quesadilla?
Yeah, it looked more like a cheesy quesadilla. It was decent size too. It was almost double the size of a taco.
It was filling, that's for sure. A little more pricey than the other tacos, which I think were $2.50 from what we had, and this one was probably like $1 more. But well worth it in the size and the quality of it.
Yeah, we didn't, when we saw it on the menu, we didn't really know what it was, right? It just said like a bunch of mixed meats or something. Is that what it said?
Yeah, just like the king of all tacos, something like that.
But I thought, Brandon's getting it. I'll let him experiment with that. But after I saw it, I'm like, man, that thing's pretty big. I should have gone with that one.
And it earned its name. I'll tell you that.
Was it worth it? Would you get it again?
Oh yeah, I think it was my favorite one. I love the al pastor one too. That's always my go-to. But this one was, I think, pretty unique to Santo Taco, and it was good.
Good. We'll have to go back and try that one then.
Yeah. Aside from that, I also had a churro, which I felt was higher quality than just your run-of-the-mill churros. I always have to try them. Yeah, better than Costco. I haven't had a Costco one in a while, so I wouldn't really be able to fairly assess that. But it was better than the ones I usually get at like Del Taco or Taco Time. I liked it better than those.
Oh, okay.
And of course, we both had to have some horchata.
Yes, they have the bubbler machine with horchata, which isn't usually my favorite because all the cinnamon and rice and stuff kind of settles on the bottom. But their bubbler seemed to be mixing it pretty well, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, you went back and got some more, right?
Of course. Always, I love my horchata.
Yeah, I think.
Hey, that's not carbonated.
There you go. Yeah, you can still drink your horchata.
There you go.
You just can't get it from So Delicious, the horchata they have there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they only mix it with Dr. Pepper or something.
Right.
Right.
Well, I think it was a fun experience. We'll post pictures of this as well on the social media, but I really like the logo that they have. It shows similar to our own podcast logo, but they have it. I don't know how else to say it, but it's like Mexicanized and it has typical like Mexican colors and flair to it. It's really cool looking. You have to check it out. They also had when you're in there, they've got the music playing. So that's something you're not going to get at a taco cart. They've got really cool decorations throughout the whole place, like on even the bathroom doors. Even down to their garbage cans were decorated really nicely.
Well, when I first walked in and kind of talking that trendy taco thing, that's what it looked like. But something that kind of caught my eye is they had a stack of which looked like kind of donut boxes. And you said you knew what those were for.
Yeah, the first time I went was just as things were really ramping up with coronavirus. And I don't know if they do it anymore, but at that time they were doing what they would call just la caja, which means just the box. And so for $20, you would get this big box of make your own taco pack, and you could just take it home. It had the meat of your choice, a bunch of tortillas. It's got the sauce with the cilantro and the little mix that they have, and it was really good. It was really nice to be able to bring that home.
So do you think that's just something they're doing during the quarantine stuff, or do they do that outside of quarantine? Because I noticed a couple people, 2 or 3 people while we were there, came and grabbed their box of donuts, so to speak. So I didn't know if that was like kind of a staple for them, or if that just came to be because of the COVID. So
It might be what I would say is if it's not always something they do, I would suggest to keep it up because I really enjoyed it, being able to take it home and make it up myself. And I think I mean, even post coronavirus, right? People may still not want to go out as much as before, but they do that, and for now at least, and some other cool things like they have Pozole Thursdays. If you haven't had Pozole before, I would strongly recommend it. Traditional Mexican soup.
I don't recall ever having it. Maybe I have. I just didn't know I had it. But
It's typically something they do for what's a big deal in the culture is Christmas Eve.
so I'm looking at their menu online, and the prices are a little bit cheaper than what we paid, which means one of two things: their prices have gone up, or because of the lack of availability or lack to get products, that maybe their pricing has gone up a little bit because of the COVID. I have heard that on news stations and whatnot, that some restaurants don't even know if they should print menus anymore, because the pricing can change on a daily basis because the price for products varies. For example, your friend showed up as we're leaving, was pulling up to come to work, and we chatted with him for a minute, and he brought up the fact that just the price of steak went up probably how many times? 4 or 5 times the price?
Yeah, it was probably
Because the price on their website is actually pretty reasonable. Maybe what we paid wasn't too bad. Like I said, it's a little bit more than you pay for a street taco, but I would definitely go back a lot more often if they went back to the pricing on the website.
yeah, $2 versus I think 250. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I think it's important. We really want to highlight this place because, yeah, businesses are struggling. Restaurant businesses have really taken a hit during this time. I know that Santo Taco themselves were shut down for a couple weeks because of everything going on, and so it's really important that we support them because if we don't, I mean, some of these places may never open up again because they've lost so much business, so much money, if you haven't been to Santo Taco or you're looking for something a little different and you're in the area, or even in our case, we went out of our way to go here, definitely would recommend to do that because it was a good place and they really could benefit from our support during this time.
Yeah, that's true. It's a rough time being in the restaurant business right now, so it's good to support the little guys when we can.
Exactly. And to that note, I know that Caesar, he helps to run they actually do have a taco cart that they do in conjunction with the restaurant, and they go do private events like weddings, parties, all those kinds of things. So if you're looking to get some kind of taco cart for your event, check them out.
Good point. And then invite us so we can come have some Santo Tacos at your event.
Yes, do that. Okay, any last thoughts on Santo Taco, Nate?
No, I think
Anything else we need to talk about?
that's all we can talk about today.
Great.
Well,
Thanks to Santo Taco for letting us come and visit. Thanks to Caesar for the insight he gave us, and give it a try, everyone. We will not be disappointed.
Yeah, check it out. And then if you know of another taco stand or taco restaurant that we should check out, let us know as well. See what options we have out there. Well, have you heard of the new quesadilla joke?
No, I have not.
Well, never mind. It's too cheesy.
And with that, thanks for listening to This Is a Place podcast. We'll see you next time.
See ya. Adios.
Adios, amigos.
Nos vemos.
Órale.